Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of FPV Video of the Month. As you can see, this is a special episode to kick off a partnership that we hope is a long-term thing. Before we get started, let's everyone welcome Juan Carpio of Drone Racing Parts. Juan, great to have you.
Guys, what a pleasure. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It's truly an honor.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's awesome. We're so excited. I mean, just the talks we've had before this, that we really dissected all of these videos, and it's cool just to hear another view, somebody different than Phluxy and I, you know, and that's really cool. Speaking of Phluxy, what's up, dude?
I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So I think, you know what, we have a lot to talk about with each one of these videos, so I think we get right into it.
Do it.
You guys? All right.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about what the winner's gonna win when the winner wins. Is that all cool with you guys?
Also.
All right, let's get right to it. First up on the list is a video that once again went viral, broke the internet, and is a very eye candy type film. And I say film to an extent because there's a lot of production that goes into this. And it is the Quack attack by Jay Christensen, the MOA flight. Phluxy, I know you and I have talked about doing this for years, and we've seen it now. Break it down. You know, just break it down, what you think about the flying, the production, and everything that goes into it.
All right, so obviously I'm a hockey fan, so I loved it, right? I love the theme. I like that they had skaters in the mall, and it really, everything, you know, went together really well. That, you know, there was no real acrobatic flying to it, but, you know, for only being able to fly in angle mode, I think they really put together, I think they used what they could to put together what they could. You know, they did the most with only being able to fly in angle. So it was great, but also it's missing a lot. It could have been so much better. It could have been so much better.
And I think, Juan, that's it. I think it makes you wanting more. We know what all goes into the Mall of America. We know what goes into Nickelodeon Universe and the rides. And I know that they were held back a little by the mall. You could only do this, and this, and Jay had been out there numerous times to get the line, so there could have been something there as well. I don't know. But as far, you know, in Juan, you know, you and I over the last couple of weeks have really been breaking down videos by FPV skills, and I think that, as somebody that's an FPV traditionalist, like, was that the first thing you looked at when you saw this production?
The first thing I noticed, man, was the colors. It was absolutely phenomenal colors. I really enjoyed watching it. The colors were very, very real. At the same time, vibrant, so they pop at you, you know? But to touch on what Phluxy is saying, the flying could have been a lot more, for lack of a better word, ballsy, let's say. Obviously, you want to be very careful and, you know, not mess up anything in the mall, but I think it could have been done a little bit more, tighter turns, a little bit closer to the rides, accentuate the rides as well more, you know. It was a great, I think something me and you touched on, the sounds were absolutely fantastic, you know. It really, really felt like he was behind the hockey players, like he was going through the rides, but the flying could have been a little bit more FPV-ish, let's say, you know.
That's the best way to put it too. Yeah, I think it could, because while you can see the FPV angle here and there, when comparing videos in an FPV video of the month, I feel like that is one thing you have to take into effect, how much actual FPV is going into that. And I'm using that as a verb, I think, more than anything. How much diving, how much, you know, loops, stuff like that. And once again, the mall could have told Jay, you know, we needed a safe, straight flight. We want your, you know, getting everything coordinated, that type of thing, like we saw in the bowling alley video. And I think that could have been it. And I think he did a great work with the overall production.
Absolutely, I agree. And, you know, even if the mall, and this is, you know, me being a little bit of a rebel,
yeah,
even if the mall tells you to be precise and careful and all this, you can still push it. The mall's not gonna know. You know, it's like, all right, maybe they do, maybe they don't.
That's probably why they didn't give Phluxy the call, because he does push it. I don't care if we're flying through hockey players' legs or through a real estate shoot. That is one thing you get with Phluxy, and I'm sure with you as well, Juan, is just kicking it. You know, you want to do it to the max.
I mean, that's why we fly, bro. We love flying. Literally, we love flying, and that's what we're trying to do. Push the limits always.
Yep. All right, well, that was enough. I mean, we could talk about this video over and over and over, and I think the world is talking about this video over and over and over, but we need to move on, or this is going to be a 2-hour show. So, well done, Jay. You know, once again, two months in a row in the top 5 videos. You know, there is something to that. Just keep on practicing, getting better, and we know they're going to get better. Number 2, or second on this list, 35 years from Chernobyl accident by Shamkal FPV. This is his first or second video only on AirVuz, and thank God he uploaded to AirVuz because that was phenomenal. Anything Chernobyl like gets people's attention, but when you put Chernobyl and FPV together, we saw it a few years ago with Steele and some of the Rotor Riot dudes, you know, when he was back with them, and it sort of was like, oh my God, they just flew an FPV drone through Chernobyl. And now with the DJI FPV drone and Real Steady and DJI's Steady Cam, it's like, this was mind-blowing, guys.
Yeah, so this one immediately caught my eye just because of the darkness to it, right? Like it really just gives off an eerie vibe because it's Chernobyl. Like anything in Chernobyl is going to give off an eerie vibe. And I personally am a guy who kind of likes that kind of stuff. So that already had me from the beginning. Then on top of that, you add on that this was the DJI FPV drone. And I saw the stock footage that came from DJI for advertisements for the DJI FPV drone, and it did not look as good as what he just put together.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's just like the sounds, everything, you know, it was a great production. I think he used a lot of cinematography tricks properly in the right places, did some reverse, added some slow motion. Everything was edited together really well, and the colors were perfect to set the tone for Chernobyl.
Yeah.
You know, it was just all around. It was kind of dark and gloomy, and it was I love it.
It's beautiful, man. When he does the transition where he's going to do the power loop and then it reverses in through and you're catching the golden hour, that orange is just absolutely, and the red letters on top, like the colors are just perfectly done. And I didn't know it was a DJI drone. So looking at it again with the DJI FPV drone, it's just like, wow, this guy really hit the spot really well. He hit it here, he hit it there, through this gap, through that gap, around through the bus. So it was a really nice, it was very well put together. Sounds, colors, flying, very well done. I was very impressed watching this. It was one of the ones that kept me at the edge of my seat as much as possible.
I think that's it too. We watch a lot of FPV videos each day at AirVuz, and this was one when I was watching it, like I was getting the chills. Like it made me. It was like that loop. You said the loop into the backwards transition was like, hell yes, like that is FPV. You know.
Yep.
And we talk about making the most of your FPV opportunity. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great video, and you know, touching on what Phluxy said, it's the eeriness of Chernobyl, and it was just done right. That's what you have to say. It was done. The guy did his job very well.
Yep, totally. From there, let's move on. From there, we've got Big Sky Terrain Park by PattyFPV. Actually, Patty is somebody we know well at AirVuz. A few years back, he started his whole drone career at AirVuz, moved out to Big Sky, Montana to do productions out there. And the funny thing with Patty, and I give him crap all the time, is that him and I jumped into this FPV world at about the same time 2 years ago. And just he was making bank on Ethereum. I don't care if he hears me saying that right now. He's like, you know what? I think I'm going to sell a couple and just go all out in FPV. He bought all this stuff. We did some cool flights in Minneapolis. He moved to Big Sky, and it's almost like he forgot about FPV. And then he comes back about 6 months ago, realizing, oh shit, I live in one of the coolest spots of America. I need to break this out. And thankfully he did, because we're getting flights like this. This really is the epitome of a one-shot to me. And it was actually part of the Red Bull Illume, I think is the contest in March. Like they even spotted it. I'm talking a lot. And I think it's worth it because Patty did a killer job on this one. And Phluxy, funny story on this one. Let me just toss it to you quick. He called you that morning, I believe it was, for this shoot or for one right before it, when he was looking for some, tips and tricks on goggles and stuff like that. And it looked like those tips turned out well.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed it. Like it is the epitome of a one shot, right? He had not only the talent himself of being able to fly this and put this piece together, but he had a talent like the skier was a badass. That guy is shredding, okay? And to put it all together, like there were a couple times in the video where he did lose the skier for a little bit, but he always managed to come back and flip the camera back around so that he wasn't missing any of the action. You know, he might have passed him on the straightaways in between some of the features, but he didn't miss any of the action, really. And I think that really is part of like this whole flow thing that we talk about in FPV and trying to link these things together. Well, if you do make a mistake, you can, if you are in that flow state, you know, the mistake might have been a happy accident because now you're in front of them and you're catching them coming over the feature instead of just staying behind them the whole time. So it was, I think it was excellently executed.
And you know, touching on that, I don't think people understand the actual amount of skill it takes to chase somebody that's doing their own thing at their own speed. They don't care about the drone. They're just thinking to maintain the same line, the same distance. And if you do, like you say, the elusive flow state where you're in it, and then you come back around and you keep on them and you go, it's very difficult. You know, I could tell you from personal experience, I'll fly 12 packs and I might not get a single one shot, you know, it might have to be put together. So to get a minute and a half, 2 minutes of one straight shot, that's impressive. It's impressive and it's done well also, you know?
Yep. And while most people know what we're talking about with acro and angle mode, you could tell this one shot was on acro mode because he was making maneuvers that you just couldn't do on angle. And he was keeping up. He was going fast. He was going slow, you know, and I think that sort of separates it too. When you talk about one shots, is that we see so many one shots, and myself included, where you try to do these house tours or you try to do these chases where you are just on angle because you want the shot. But when you see guys like yourself and like Phluxy, like we just saw it at a real estate shoot, he's never on angle, you know, and I think that tells you the skill of an FPV pilot right there too.
I'll be honest, I don't know how to fly on angle.
Yeah, really?
I never flew on angle. I flew on angle like two times, and then it was acro, and I never went back.
Yeah, and
I think the only thing I fly angle is tiny whoops.
Yeah,
and actually we race tiny whoops in angle, which is crazy. But
I've heard that. I actually fly tiny whoops in acro, but I never raced, so I don't know about racing. But I fly everything on acro. So when you put angle on me, I'm like, oh, what the heck is going on here?
Like flying a Maverick for you, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, well yeah, nice work by PattyFPV on the terrain park and the Red Bull stuff. Like, congrats on everything out there, and just keep up the great work. All right, next, the master at work in this one, flying the Tordrillos. I think that's how you say it. The mountains in Alaska by Gab FPV. When I say the master at work, dude,
Doc's in the house, baby.
Doctor, yes. And I mean, we go back almost 3-4 years now to that first mountain surfing flight by Gab, and he's still killing it, you know, and he's finding ways to get your attention still, you know, and I think that's what you get when you have one of the top FPV pilots in the world. Yeah.
His lines are just like, they're amazing, you know, like and I don't know if you have much experience flying over snow, you can't see where the ground is or where the sky, so it's all a guess. You know, like I can't tell you how many times I've juicy flicked thinking I had space and boom, right into the snow because it's all white. You can't tell the difference, you know? And if it's not a beautifully blue sky that contrasts the white ground, you just will lose it on a loop or anything. So to do what he's doing through mountains, you know what I would love to know? Where is he?
For real, every time.
Where is he?
Yeah, where is this dude?
I mean, because like he's just carving mountains for miles, and you're like, I want to see him. Where is he doing this from? It's amazing. It's amazing. He's a true doctor, like you say. Like it's the gold standard, bro. That's what you want to do when you want to carve a line. This is the guy that you're gonna go look at and be like, yeah, okay, I got lots to learn.
I mean, that's why he is who he is. He's the best at this, right?
Absolutely.
He's got the formula down. He knows, obviously, something that none of us know, because he's able to get up and fly, like you said, miles away somehow on the top of these mountains and do it comfortably, diving through these gaps. And it's mind-blowing. It was actually something that, you know, he was in Tordrillo working on natural selection. So I was waiting for this to happen, actually. I wanted to see what it looked like, because we got I watched all of the natural selection stuff that him and Jet have done. And I was like, I know these guys are doing some freestyle flying out there. Where's that
Absolutely.
footage at? Where's
Yup.
that footage at? So, yeah, I'm
And
glad to see it. And
you know what? Sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you got it.
What is insane to me about it, that I've been flying for 3 years, Gab's been flying for, I don't know, 7+ probably. You never lose that little adrenaline fear that you have of doing this thing. It's always there. So when you're doing it at this level of long range and top of mountains, it has to be amplified tenfold at least. And if you go look at Gab's DVR footage, I guarantee you that this is just as smooth as the GoPro that we're seeing, because he's just that nice. You know, it's just that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, and I think there's, in Phluxy, you mentioned it, he is the best. I mean, you can say that, like, there's coffee shops say we have world's best coffee. Well, no, literally, he is the best at mountain surfing. I mean, he invented it.
That's why he's been in the mountains for the last 2 months filming natural selection.
Yeah.
That's why he films for National Geographic. That's why he is the man for all of this. So it's you know.
Yeah.
Good job, Gab.
Sure. Yeah, good job. Yeah, that's a great way
Even though I know I don't need to tell you good job, continue to do it, but good one, Gab. we like it.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, last on this list, but definitely not least, is a day in the life of an Icelandic volcano. Now, we had mentioned earlier that Jay has made this top 5 for 2 months in a row. These guys, Icelandaerials, also have, and it's really tough to make it twice in a row with very similar videos. But I mean, guys, the dude is flying over spitting lava. Like, and the cool part about this one is they were out there from like 3 a.m. to 24 hours, I think. Like they camped out there.
They were camping, yeah.
Yeah, and so they have the morning, the night, the whatever, you know, and it's mind blowing. And I think this is one of them we will be talking about for a long time and discussing, because of just the crazy footage they've got on this opportunity. Juan, dude, no, I know this is one of them that's really hitting you. Like,
he's flying through lava. I mean, like, I don't know what more it is to say. There's like lava bits flying, molten rock and stuff, like, and like we said you know, going into this, there's a very high chance that you might lose your drone. Like, you know, it's not like flying at a park or anywhere else where you could walk and pick it up, or even in the water where if you put a water bottle on it, you could go. No, this is like, I might not see her again. You know, I might never see this drone again. And that takes a lot of, you know, brass to get to just, you're like, you know what? If I lose it, I lose it. Let's just go, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And there were some times we're literally flying through lava. Like, you saw these specks of lava coming over the quad. And I'm thinking to myself, one little drop of this in an inopportune spot on your quad, and that is down, and it is melted, and like you said, it's gone forever. You ain't no chance of getting that back.
No. Yeah. And I know because I've seen your videos, Flux. You've been hit by dirt from cars, and it takes you out. You know, I've been hit from dirt by car, and it takes you out. So I can't even imagine what a piece of molten lava will do to a prop, you know?
Yeah. Could you imagine the footage though? Like, when you fall in the lake, you know, it still records for a while. When you fall in dirt, it records for a while. When you get hit by a piece of lava, you're done. Like, that's it.
No,
that's
like,
it.
You would never get that back. Yeah.
Right. You never get that back. Yeah.
It's funny. Most FPV guys, they don't really care about the drone. They care about the SD card. Like, let me recover the SD. You're not recovering anything there. Maybe some ashes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'll be some of the DJI goggles 1080 footage that you can
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
But
so I have a couple things to say on that. Just from like a cinematic and point of view on this, I don't really like some of the flying that they were doing. There was like the intro scene where he was like coming in, he was like at a 45-degree angle, and it just looked awkward to me, and it just wasn't pleasing to my eyes. And then there were a couple times doing orbits and stuff where also the same thing. It was like tilted, you know, super crazy. I think maybe, especially, actually 100% in a situation like that, crank your camera angle down. Like, when I film drift cars, I'm at 0 tilt on my GoPro. My GoPro is flat, straightforward. So it allows me to come in, turn it around, get panning shots backwards, and still be able to have the camera straight on it and be able to do all that. But yeah, other than that,
Yeah.
obviously, epic.
No,
2 months in a row.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy for camping out there, but I guess so. I have at it.
Well, hey, I mean,
Enjoy, you know, do it for us.
yeah. I mean, whether they win awards for it or not, they've got the whole world talking about it. You know, I've seen this on news stations too. You know, we've had it out like we mentioned. This is two episodes of this in a row. We've talked about it. They've been talking about it on CNN and on BBC and all around the world. And I think that just that in itself, if you're a real FPV pilot, you care about that, I think, more than money, more than awards. I don't know. That'd be just me saying, but you're just showing what FPV can actually capture. And I think that's the biggest thing of all of this for all 5 of these guys, that the FPV community is growing and the FPV industry is growing. And I think it's because of a lot of these. We have 5 very, very different flights once again, you know, and I think that's it. But
you know, and Jake,
yeah,
touching on what you're saying is that's in essence the true FPVer does it for the flight, does it for the love of the flight, how they feel when they put the goggles on. The moment that you hear the props arm, there's a certain feeling that you get as an FPV pilot that you're like, yes, I'm free. I could go do what I want to do, you know? And you could see that these guys, all 5 videos, they're loving what they do. You know, that you could totally see it because it takes love to make such a beautiful production. You can't just make it because it's for the money or for anything like that. You have to have dedication, skill, your vision, you know, all these things come into play.
Yeah. And I think we see that, you know, whether it's the Mall of America with Jay, who comes from a production background, he's a production genius, or Gab flying at the top of mountains, like he's a genius at, but we're just seeing everybody add their certain way of flying FPV into what they are already good at, I think too. And especially in these videos. So I hope that makes sense. If not, I'm sorry. But
that makes perfect sense, bro. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And so I'm going to get to the point. Needless to say, we have talked about this now since Friday when we finalized the final pilots to watch. Juan and I were going back about which one he says, and then he's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Then Phluxy comes in. He's like, I'm going to pick this one. That was a way different one than the 2 of us were talking about.
Phluxy changed it all.
Yeah.
And with very good points, too. Yeah. Like, it made us see things that we had not seen before.
So he's blaming Phluxy. You get that, everybody? We're blaming Phluxy. Oh, man. But I think
in a good way.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's great because, once again, we all have different views of FPV. We all see it different. I think that's what's going to make this whole working relationship so good, is that we're going to be able to talk to each other and say, here's why, watch it this way again, watch it this way again. And I think that's going to be so good. But when you have hundreds of FPV uploads a month and you're in the top 5, like, be proud of that, first off, because AirVuz is I'm not just, you know, touting AirVuz here, patting us on the back, but we see some phenomenal flights that just didn't make these top 5 that I want. Like, it's tough to break it down to 5. It really is. And even tougher to break it down to 1. But we are breaking it down to 1. The winner, throwing it over to you, Juan. You tell everybody who is the winner and what they are going to win.
All right. The winner is me.
Don't have to worry about shipping. Everybody's happy.
I got it. No, listen, after lots of talking, watching, and commenting, I think the winner is Chernobyl. That's who we got to go with. It was an absolutely fantastic video. The 3 of us agreed that it was a great production. So it hands down, like everybody's video was amazing, but this one was the one that the 3 of us, we just agreed. There was no debating it, you know?
Yeah, because it was the whole package. It was the whole package all put into one. Like, it set the mood right. It was the right location for that mood. Like you said, the colors were perfect for it. The editing, the tricks, the power loop stuff, just the creativity, all in all, everything. There's a lot. It can't just be one thing that's great about it. This one, everything was great, and that's why I say that Chernobyl wins it too. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yep, and I think you mentioned it earlier. He was flying on the DJI FPV drone, which isn't, for everybody that's been flying FPV, it's different, man. You know, he's making the tricks with this DJI FPV drone. I think that says something too, that this guy knows how to fly, you know, he really does, no matter.
And he knows some tricks with editing, because he made the DJI FPV drone produce better footage than the stock DJI FPV footage that they use to advertise.
We need to give this guy a call, I think, too.
Yeah, for real.
So
No, he's good, man. He's good. And like you're saying, like I've flown the DJI FPV drone, and it's not a traditional quad, you know, like there's a little bit of a learning curve to it. And this guy killed it, like straight killed it. Like if you guys wouldn't have mentioned it, I wouldn't have known. I thought it was a regular quad. So like that just goes to show you how good it is.
Yep. But he might not be flying the DJI drone for very much longer, because what does he win, Juan?
Well, it depends. It depends which route he wants to go. We could either go with the 5-inch Apex that we build, or with the 3-inch Cinema rack. Both of them are for cinematics or for ripping. Now, Chris is looking like a 3-inch. Dude, this thing rips. I'm not a cinematic pilot whatsoever. My heart stays at freestyle. And when I was doing the testing for the Cine rack, because we built it 6S on FETech, I rip it, bro. I use it like a 5-inch, and it stands up, man. And then if you tone it down and now you want to use it like a little cinematic cruiser, it holds a line as good as anything I've ever flown. So it's definitely a great, great tool to add to the bag.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congrats again to Shamkal. I think that's how you say it. Shamkal FPV. It was an amazing flight through Chernobyl. You get your choice of one of those two drones. We'll be in touch between AirVuz and drone racing parts and all of that. And if for moving forward, if you think, no matter if you're flying through the Mall of America, a mountain, chasing a skier, or going over a volcano, if you think you have the skills to be the FPV video of the month, we're doing it again in May. I think we've all sort of had this discussion on, you know, we're going to keep seeing cinematography and production and all of this. We're trying to find creative ways to show off those pilots that really do have the skills, the real FPV skills. You know, I know Juan and I have been talking about some things they might do through their social media, but I just want everyone to know, yes, you know, some of these are very well produced, but if you throw together an amazing freestyle edit, you have a chance, like just as much as anybody else. You really do. And so I think that's the biggest thing, because yeah, I mean, like I said, and I think that's the Chernobyl one says that very well. It was a fully, you know, there was some freestyle, there was production, there was a little of everything, but yeah, Juan, maybe you want to talk more about how much like just the skills mean to this community.
You know, I started 3 years ago when it was purely freestyle and racing. There was nothing else, you know, and then cinematics came into the scene about 1.5 years ago. And at first you're like, yeah, whatever, man, go make your movies. But now it's the real, it's the future of FPV. Like that's where the hobby's going. And, but at the same time, we can never forget where we come from. You know, Flux is a racer. I'm a freestyler. And, I think it's important to keep these skills, these videos alive for everybody that comes in. Because I could tell you, as I was running the store, as a store owner, I don't get many calls that people that want to build a freestyle drone or a racing drone. No, everything is like, no, I want to make videos. So like we're kind of losing touch with the roots of FPV, you know? So it's very important. And I'm glad you said that of the freestyle, because it's very important for all freestyle pilots to understand your skills can completely overshadow production, you know? Like I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna pick Chernobyl over inverted yaw gap through a gap, but like if you do it clean, like, and one of the people that I always talk about is Vic FPV. This guy, oh my God, the precision, the things that he does, like, so like it's gonna be difficult to judge, but Vic is ridiculous, you know? And of course the GOAT himself, Mr. Steele, another master. The things that he does, you know, he does so many flippy floppies in one trick that you don't really know what happened. You just know that something happened and it was really good, but I'm not really sure. You know, he's just amazing. So anybody could win. You know, it just takes about how well you compose your video and your moves and the transitions, because don't get it twisted. FPV guys put some amazing productions of freestyle on it, you know, with the right song, the right colors. All of a sudden you have a really, really dope freestyle edit, you know? But then when you put it next to Jay Bird or Remy or any of these huge videos, it's a different category. It's not fair to judge them on the same platform, you know?
So yeah, if anybody out there has any ideas what we should do, you know, we're, like I said, Juan and AirVuz we're gonna get creative between drone race parts and AirVuz, hopefully coming very soon. Fluxy,
Something's coming.
Fluxy, I know this is very near and dear to your heart, because you waited till the very last second to really start with Real Steady, because you are freestyle, you are racer. But I mean, just to continue to let people know that we care about your videos. Like,
Yeah.
style videos matter. They really do. Like, you know, like, and I think, yeah, just touch on that a little bit.
No, I mean, I held out as long as I could on using Real Steady because I thought it was, you know, it's weak. It is, like, especially with what I like to do and the way that I fly. Like, I would never Real Steady something that was for me. Now, with drift footage and trying to make something cinematic like that, it's a perfect tool for cinematography. But if I ever see an FPV freestyle video that is Real Steadied, you're canceled by Phluxy.
Yep, I
Because
agree,
that
bro.
is not the way it should be. Raw footage. I want to see the grittiness. I want it to feel like an old skate video because that's what it is, you know.
Yep.
And that's how it should be. But I'm not saying Real Steady's bad. You know, I held out, but I do use it now from time to time, right?
Yeah.
But
I make you. It's my fault.
yeah.
No, and you're absolutely right, Flux. It's necessary for those shots. It makes those shots go from okay to out of this world, you know, because how many times have you been on a line and then you get a gust of wind and it rocks you and that video is done, you know? But now we're Real Steady, hyper smooth, all these things. That video is just as good. But again, and I always use the inverted yaw spin because it's one of the most practiced freestyle tricks ever because that's the one they love. Well, and the Matty flip. Those are the two most talked about maneuvers. If you do an inverted yaw spin through a gap in a tree with hyper smooth on, then just don't even publish it. I don't even want to see it. Just show me the raw dog footage so I know your quad is tuned, so I know your rates are locked in, so I know that you got wonky props on, you know? That's, to me, that's the roots of what FPV is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end this one too. We're running out of time anyway. Juan, first off, thanks, dude. We are so stoked. This is gonna be fun, man.
Guys, I can't tell you how grateful and honored I am to be on AirVuz After Dark and choosing this. It truly is amazing. It truly is, and I can't wait. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have lots of fun.
Yeah. And as always, my co-host Phluxy. Thanks, man.
Thank you again.
And once again, if you feel you have the FPV video that could win the month of May, upload it now to airvuz.com, and we'll see. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Later.